Heath, making a bit of a transition here, you talked about being Danny Warvel's teammate, and the reason that's interesting to me is I've always named these quarterbacks that I think are like, if you could create them in a lab for a system, like
Yeah.
Tommy Frazier for Tom Osborne, Danny Warfel for C. Spurrier was one of them, Tim Tebow for Urban Meyer.
Yeah.
I feel like Nico Iamaleava is a guy that was created in a lab to play in Josh Heupel's system. Is that crazy for me to say?
Yeah. Well, I think he has all the potential to be that person, right? It would hard to be able to take that. Hooker has that ranking number one right now. Okay,
not me, Hendon, right?
Yeah, Hendon Hooker. Yeah, Hendon Hooker has that position number one. Okay, and it's going to take a lot to take over that position. Is it going to happen this year with Nico? I hope so, but most likely not. It's going to be a couple of years down the road. Nico's going to play extremely well at times, and he's going to make some young mistakes. I think that's where I think he's worked really hard already. Preparing once the bowl game, his preparation was really good. I thought he made great decisions. He didn't give the ball to the opposing team. He probably missed a lot of reads, right? I kind of saw him. He was more quick to pull the ball down and run, which is okay when they start spying because his ability to run. It's going to cause a little more that he's going to have to really go through his progressions. But I think he's got a great opportunity. He's got the physical, the mental tools to be able to be successful. He's got the arm strength to be successful. Because that's the one thing about this offense. You better be able to throw it from hash to the other sideline with a lot of velocity. So I think he certainly has that arm strength and ability. But I think he's got that little bit of the it factor, Caleb, that you're talking about, right? He does have that the swagger that I like to see a quarterback have, his ability to move. And the great thing about it, he's not fast. Nico's not I would say he's probably not. He's maybe a 4.6, 4.7 guy, but look, there's a guy that won Super Bowl this year at running high 4.7. And just the ability to move and when to move and how to get out of the pocket is important, far more than just your 40 time. But I think he's going to have a lot of success using his legs and throwing the ball. The thing with him is he's got to continue hitting the weights. He's got to get stronger, really get stronger. And that's not to be able to throw the ball better. It's just to be able to stay intact during the season.
You may have been the only quarterback where I was around that actually liked the weight room other than
I loved it.
You loved it?
I loved it. I love the weight room. That was my passion,
Well, it's because you could have been you would have been a decathlete easy. You would have won the gold medal. I've said that before. I've told you that before. What would you tell Nico about the weight room? How do you embrace that? Because most quarterbacks hate it. I remember when a scout came to me and said, the worst mistake that Casey Clausen ever made at Pro Day was taking his shirt off. Has he seen the weight room? So, what would you tell Nico about how he needs to embrace it?
Well, it's about longevity. The more that you prepare in the weight room and get stronger, and it keeps your joints together, your shoulders, you want to be strong, be able to break tackles. And oftentimes, the defensive tackle grabs a hold of you and you got a chance to get the ball out of your pocket. It's a difference between out of your hand. It's a difference between a sack and a first down. And just Tom's having that physical strength to be able to break loose or to be able to get that ball out has nothing to do with the ability to throw as much as your abilities in the weight room. And you have to get stronger. If you want to be successful, you have to get stronger. The greatest quarterback to ever play the game was Brady. So, he took his shirt off at the combine, and I don't think they were too impressed with him. And
but he got
hard to say. I'm talking about a guy that was injured for my career, but and a guy that played, forever. That was just unstoppable. That probably didn't have the best physique. He wasn't a Cam Newton physically, but
let me go ahead and tell you this, Heath.
Unbelievable.
I'm just going to roll this out there. That Tom Brady and everything, he's all right. Wasn't a congressman.
Well, okay.
I mean, there you got that. He's jumping up on chairs selling this product. Now you're actually you were a congressman. Go ahead, Caleb.
So Heath, interestingly, I wanted to settle a debate for us because Dave and I actually disagreed all last football season on this because it's funny. You said what I said, which is I felt Nico needed to get bigger last year. There was a lot of talk that after the Citrus Bowl that maybe Nico should have started earlier in the season in 2023. I was of the mindset that I think Heupel wanted to make sure Nico got physically there conditioning wise before he was ready to just trot him out. And I think it was a good move to have Joe Milton start the whole season. What did you think?
Well, Caleb, I'll have to agree with you. Sorry, Dave. I apologize.
You still would have won the gold medal in the decathlon. I'm not backing off that.
Well, that was my true sport that I love the most. Most people don't know that. Track was my favorite by far. I love track. That was my favorite sport by far.
I did not know that.
Love track. But when it comes to Nico, I think there was another point that it had to be a time in which he was going to be put into a game to be successful. And I think that they really did a really good job of keeping it simple during the bowl game, and allowing him to be successful in the things that he knew well. Because there's so much attention given to the starting quarterback to be successful during the season. It's really challenging to just go through one spring ball in this particular offense based upon the route conversions that the wide receivers have, right? So to me, nobody knows better than your head coach and your offensive coordinator, quarterback coach, of when a quarterback is ready. And I think they certainly made it at the right time. And it was a good thing. I'm glad he had that opportunity. The hard part is the difference with Hendon gave Joe Milton a lot of time, right? I mean, he got a lot of snaps. This last year, Joe didn't give Nico as many snaps as he probably should have gotten or would have gotten. There's a couple of games there that we should have, Nico should have probably played the entire second half, no different than Joe played a lot of second halves, or certainly the fourth quarters in full, because of just getting up on some teams that we should have been way up on instead of, going into the fourth quarter before we started to put them away. So I think going into this year that, Nico he's still going to make those freshman mistakes along the way, but I think having that one full game under his belt's really been helpful.
So I didn't know you were in Knoxville. So when's launch? Because I'm in Knoxville now.
Well, hey, I've been here since 22. So
so I'm
August of 22.
I'm going. The last time I went to lunch with a quarterback from North Carolina, I overheard the ladies there saying, "Wow, he's really good looking." And I went up to her and I said, "Sorry, ladies, I'm married." And she said, "I was referring to that one," and it was referring to Jonathan Crompton.
Oh, that's hilarious.
So
we won't tell Jonathan that. We won't tell him that.
No, he's already got a big head.
Yeah.
All right, have a fantastic rest of your week. It really means a lot. Guys. Greatly appreciate it.
Thanks for having me on the show. Great to see you, Caleb. Thanks, Dave.
Have a good one. Great meeting you.
Strong stuff.